Hey everybody, it's Jeff from New York, and we're going to do something today we haven't done in a long while. We're going to walk the entire Las Vegas Strip from the northern end up here by Fashion Show Mall all the way down to the southern end by Mandalay Bay. I'll do a little commentating during our stroll as well as playing some music perhaps, and if you do see something of interest, chances are very good that there's at least one or two videos on the New York channel covering that attraction, whether it's a hotel or a restaurant or something, so check the videos out on this channel if you see something you like during our stroll. So hey, no dilly-dallying, put on some comfortable shoes and let's get started on this walk, shall we? Okay, we're starting off here in front of the Wynn and Encore Hotel and Casino, right across the street from Fashion Show Mall. We just saw the Deuce bus pull away, and one of the things I do when I get to Vegas, I'm usually here for about a week, maybe a day or two under a week, depends on the visit. But the first thing I do is buy a ticket for as long as I'm staying for the Deuce, because I am on either the Deuce or other buses in this city constantly, transferring from one to another to get around town. And when you buy that ticket for several days in a row, it's a lot cheaper. If by any chance I'm traveling, say downtown at night, I typically get an Uber at that point, or if I'm traveling somewhere that the buses just don't go to, like Red Rock Resort or the M Resort. Actually, they probably do go to the M Resort, but never took a bus there. In any event, I love using public transportation. Hey, I'm Jeff from New York. Hold on tight. Now we're crossing over to the west side of the strip because I prefer that side of the strip. There seems to be a lot more attractions as far as hotels and casinos and places that I like, so we're going to walk on that side today. So this is Fashion Show Mall, most of you know that, and the place is huge. It's one of the biggest malls I've ever been in. I want to say it's 3 stories, but it's hard to tell. There's so many escalators and it's kind of broken up, so it's hard to count how many levels there actually are in this mall. I know there's a parking basement, and then from there up, I have no idea. I do know they have a large food court on the upper level in case you're looking for some cheap eats while you're walking the strip. And there's just about every store you can imagine, national store as well as local stores as well. And if you forgot to pack something, this is the place to come. I'm sure they'll have it. There's a Deuce bus stop right here in front of the mall. And actually, there's pretty much a Deuce stop in front of every hotel and casino on this strip. Now, today's walk from the Fashion Show Mall down to the Mandalay Bay is about 2 miles. I'm a walker, so that doesn't bother me. As a matter of fact, I'll probably walk back, which will make it a 4-mile walk. Usually when I'm in Vegas, I walk more than 10 miles a day, so this is just half a day's worth of walking as far as I'm concerned. If you do decide to walk a long distance and you just don't feel like walking back, always remember you got to walk back, folks. You can just hop on that Deuce. Like I said, it's very convenient. Hold on tight. By the way, this is very unusual, a working escalator and elevator. Right now we're crossing over Spring Mountain Road, heading towards the TI, or as it used to be known as the Treasure Island. I've stayed there before. It was a very nice visit. There was a CVS, which is coming up in front of us here at the TI, right inside the hotel. And if you can get a CVS or a Walgreens right inside your hotel, you've got it made in the shade. As many of you know, the first thing I do when I check in is empty my suitcase, head down to the drugstore, and fill up that suitcase with water, adult beverages, some snacks, some disinfectant, and I head back up to my room and unpack all that stuff, and I'm set for the week. There we go, broken escalators. Now I feel like I'm on the Las Vegas Strip. And now we're in front of the TI. I had about 30 seconds there I had to cut out. It was a bad clip. Sorry about that. But we're in front of the TI now. They have fountains out here. The ships, there used to be a show here. About 2 years ago, they stopped doing the show. It was like a pirate show. We also have Senior Frogs here. They do a drag show every Sunday, and I always seem to miss it. Something I always wanted to catch. And we also have Gillies here, the country and western bar, where they do line dance lessons. And there's a video on the channel. Check it out. Right across the street is the Palazzo and Venetian. Stayed there, been there, done that. As part of the Palazzo and Venetian complex, you also have the Grand Canal shops where the gondoliers go up and down the canals and sing while you're doing your shopping. Very nice. Maestro, how about a little music to celebrate Gillies? That area back there is the valet pickup and Uber Lyft pickup for Treasure Island, and now we're crossing this street. We're heading onto the Mirage property. This is Mitzi, the Rubber Ducky Showgirl, who shows up on all my Vegas videos. As most of you know, there are hidden mascots, or some of you call them Easter eggs, in my videos. Mitzi shows up in all the Vegas ones. Sometimes she's easy to spot, other times she's quite elusive, so keep your eyes open while watching the video. If you spot her, note the time in the comments below, and if you're the first one, you'll get a shout out on an upcoming video. And this walkway we're walking under takes you from the Mirage property to the Venetian across the street. We're coming upon Siegfried and Roy Plaza, which Siegfried and Roy had a big cat show here, as many of you know, at the Mirage for years. The show was ended when Roy Horn got seriously injured by one of the big cats. Roy Horn unfortunately passed away earlier this year. Siegfried Fischbacher, however, still is alive and well, and I actually met him in the sanctuary they have in the back of the Mirage. A lot of big cats back there as well as dolphins, and I met Siegfried Fischbacher, a very nice person. My very last day here in Las Vegas not too long ago was at the Mirage, and I had a great time here. It was a long visit. It was 7 or 8 days. I didn't plan on staying that long, but I couldn't get all my videoing done. I had the fortunate opportunity to have a couple of extra spare days. They gave me a good price, so I stayed longer, and I had a good visit here. These fountains in front at night become the volcano show at the Mirage. It's probably second only to the Bellagio fountains as far as free shows that are very popular here on the Strip. By the way, the Mirage has a very nice pool with waterfalls and other water features, and they also have a adults-only pool called Bear, and it's called Bear for a very good reason. Directly across from the Mirage here is Casino Royale, which is the casino portion of the motel in the back, which is basically a Best Western. The front of the Mirage seems to go on forever, perhaps one of the longest hotel frontages there is on the Las Vegas Strip, well over 1,000 feet. And right here in front of the Mirage gates, or one of the Mirage gates, is another Deuce bus stop. This is where you stand if you want to catch the bus going south. If you want to go north, there's a stop right across the street. And as you can see from the signage on the building at the Mirage, Love, the Beatles Cirque du Soleil show, has its home here at the Mirage. I saw the show. It was very nice. Unfortunately, Cirque du Soleil is going to be closing some of their shows permanently. They already announced that Zumanity will be closed permanently. I don't know about Love. I hope it makes it. It's a great show. And now we're leaving the Mirage property, a MGM property, and heading towards Caesar's Palace, obviously a Caesar's property. This is the shops, or the Forum shops rather, at Caesar's, another large mall here on the Las Vegas Strip. And directly across the street, Harrah's Hotel and Casino. I think what I'm going to do is put a link to all of these places. Most of them I have videos on, including the Forum shops and Harrah's and the Mirage. And I'm just going to put a link to all of the videos in the description below in case any of you guys are interested in watching those videos as well. I think the Forum shops here at Caesar's has one of the coolest LED signs on the Strip. I don't know, is it LED? Or am I showing my age? Perhaps it's something newer, but it's really cool. These signs can get quite noisy also. I don't know if it's fans or air conditioning inside them to keep them cool, but they're quite noisy when you get close to them. The Forum shops are obviously part of Caesar's Palace, and they're actually connected, so if you're in the Forum shops mall and you want to get into Caesar's Palace, no need to step outside. You can just walk through the mall and enter the Caesar's Palace Casino. And as someone from the Northeast, I'm always thinking, well, that's really cool in case it's like freezing out or it's raining. This doesn't happen in Las Vegas, but it does come in handy when it's 114 degrees outside and you just don't want to step out into the oppressive heat. Looking up ahead a little bit, I see the Flamingo. I've stayed there as well, and good thing about the Flamingo is it's inexpensive and it's hard to get a room with a bad view there, and they also have that habitat and a great swimming pool. It's a good stay. And directly across the street from Caesar's Palace is the Link Hotel and Casino. It's funny, but I've been known to call the east side of the strip the Caesar's side, because most of the hotels and casinos on the east side of the strip, with of course the exception of Caesar's Palace, don't forget we're on the west side right now, but most of the hotels and casinos on the east side are Caesar's properties, and most of the hotels and casinos on the west side, which is the side we're on, are MGM properties. Of course there's a couple of exceptions, but that's pretty much the rule around here. And there he is, the man himself, Caesar, wearing his golden face mask as per protocol. And now across the street from Caesar's Palace is the Flamingo Hotel and Casino. And again, all in a row, you have Harrah's, the Link, Flamingo, Bally's, Planet Hollywood across the street, all together, all Caesar's properties. Oops, I forgot Paris, right in the middle of all those. How could I forget the Paris Hotel and Casino? Again, another Caesar's property. And here on the west side, we have, we have the Mirage, we have the Bellagio, we have the Park MGM, we have the Vidara, we have Aria, New York, Excalibur, Luxor, Mandalay Bay. This is all off the top of my head. All MGM properties on this side. The only exception on the other side would be the MGM Grand. So MGM has the MGM Grand on the east side, and Caesars has the Caesar's Palace on the west side. Those are the exceptions. Well, now, that was thrilling commentary, wasn't it? And now we're walking in front of Hell's Kitchen here on the right side, otherwise known as Beef Wellington. That's pretty much what you call this place, Beef Wellington. If you order anything else, you really don't know what you're doing. Across the street, Bally's, and OMG, I forgot the Cromwell. You know, I've walked this strip so many times. How am I forgetting these hotels and casinos? The Cromwell, the tiny Cromwell, another Caesar's property across the street. And now we're going over Flamingo Road, named after, obviously, the Flamingo Hotel and Casino across the street. And we're coming on to the Bellagio property. And there it is, the Cromwell. I'm sorry, the Cromwell, home of Giada's Italian restaurant, as well as Dre's, one of the most popular nightclubs here on the strip. And of course, I decide to walk in front of the Bellagio when the fountains are being maintained by the maintenance crew. So, no shows right here, but there's plenty on the channel, so just check those out. In the meantime, some Bellagio fountain not working music, maestro, please. So I'm really digging these trees in front of the Bellagio. I always have, because they cast a nice shadow on the sidewalk where they're keeping things nice and cool. Palm trees, on the other hand, are very beautiful, and they always remind me I'm on vacation because I'm from the Northeast where there are none. However, they don't cast a really broad shadow on the sidewalk or the streets or the swimming pool, wherever you are. And because of that, well, I just don't dig them as far as cooling you off. So thank you, Bellagio, for planting trees that throw big shadows. I guess that's what I'm saying. And if you want to check out the Bellagio Hotel and Casino, as well as the conservatory inside, well, this is the beginning of your trek. You need to make a right here and take about a half-mile walk to the front doors of the actual hotel. And across the street, we have Planet Hollywood, a popular hotel and casino here on the Las Vegas Strip, as well as the Miracle Mile Mall, one of the more popular malls here on the Las Vegas Strip as well. And as we cross this driveway here, which is the entrance and exit to the Bellagio, we come across a Bellagio sign, which, when you consider how prestigious and important the Bellagio is to the Las Vegas Strip, the sign really isn't that large at all. And it also contains the escalators, another way to get to the actual Bellagio building, which is quite far away and set back. And as we come to this intersection up here, we come up to the Cosmopolitan, or the Cosmo as it's more fondly known. The Cosmo is directly across from Planet Hollywood. One thing I can say about the Cosmopolitan is it's got a very loyal following. People just love this place who stay here, and they usually stay no other place because they like it so much. I stayed here earlier in the year for about a week, and I enjoyed it. I certainly wouldn't say it's the best hotel on the Strip, but I didn't have any real issues with it. And one thing I did love was the balcony and the view of the fountains. But other than that, I don't see what all the hoopla is. But this hotel certainly has its loyal followers. Maestro, some Cosmopolitan vibe, please. Across the way is Planet Hollywood's Miracle Mile Shops, another large mall here on the Las Vegas Strip. And this particular elevator, I make jokes that the elevators and escalators don't work. This particular one hasn't functioned in years. Up ahead, you see the sign for the Aria. The Aria and the Vidara are pretty much right next to each other. And before we get there, though, we're going to pass the Shops at Crystals, a very high-end mall here on the Las Vegas Strip. And by the way, those two towers that are leaning are condominiums, and they're called the Veer Towers. Very appropriate name because they do veer. It's not my wide-angle lens. They are actually leaning. As I mentioned just a moment ago, this particular area is very bad when it comes to elevators and escalators. They hardly ever work around here. So if I'm feeling particularly lazy or tired, I just go into the Shops at Crystals here and use their escalator to go downstairs. And I can cool off at the same time. By the way, I'm a self-admitted jaywalker, and I'm always crossing the street in the middle of the street, not where I'm supposed to, but that's pretty much impossible here on the Las Vegas Strip because of all the barriers they've built up. And that's a good thing because these drivers along the Strip are crazy. The shops at Crystal's here are very high-end and way out of my league as far as what I can afford, but I like to go in and window shop every once in a while. It's a great place to go into and just check things out. As far as being high-end malls, this is probably number one or number two. I would compare it to the shops at Wynn, which is at the Wynn Hotel between Wynn and the Encore, which is where we started this video out. Another very high-end mall there as well. So we have the shops at Crystal's on our right behind that is the Veer buildings, right behind that is the Aria, and right behind that is the Vidara. And we're going to take this elevator up to the walkway that goes over the access road that leads to all of these buildings, so we can get to the Waldorf Astoria, which you now see directly in front of us. The Waldorf has no casino, and it's basically condos and some short-term, very expensive rentals. And across the way is Polo Towers, which, again, no casino, just some condos and short-term rentals. On the right here is Bobby's Burger Palace on the ground level of the Waldorf Astoria. Part of my first burger challenge here on the Las Vegas Strip. There's now 2 burger challenges on the channel. And I really enjoyed the burger here. Unfortunately, the restaurant hasn't been open since the pandemic started, and the protests also took a beating on this place. And as you can see, the windows are still scratched up, yet to open, and I hope it opens soon because they really do have good burgers here. Another CVS. I think it's safe to say that on every block on this strip, there's either a CVS, a Walgreens, or perhaps both. And now we're coming upon the Park MGM, the only non-smoking hotel and casino on the Las Vegas Strip. Will they start a trend? We'll find out. The Park MGM is home to a couple of nice eateries, and it's also home to Eataly. The only Eataly I think in Las Vegas is right here on the Las Vegas Strip. I visited lots of Eatalys in New York City. Well, I shouldn't say that. I visited 2 Eatalys in New York City, one in the Flatiron District, one in the downtown area by One World Trade Center. I really like Eataly. It's a great place to just walk around, grab a quick bite, have a glass of wine. I just enjoy going to Eataly's. On the right here is Crack Shack. I guess it's a chicken eatery, if you will. And I don't know if I had a restaurant if I'd call it the Crack Shack. I think they're referring to eggs, but a lot of other things come to mind when people see that name. As you can see here, when I visited Eataly in the Park MGM, it was closed. It has since opened, and Eataly I've visited since it's opened, after this video was made, and although the barrier was removed from the front door, there are still barriers inside Eataly preventing you from visiting about half the shops and restaurants. The next hotel and casino we're coming upon is the New York, New York. I've never stayed there. I've been there plenty of times. There's videos on this channel about it. But I think my next visit to Vegas might either be the New York, New York, or I might revisit the Palazzo, one of my favorite stays here on the Las Vegas Strip. It all depends on how much money I want to spend. The New York, obviously the cheaper of the two. But before we get to the New York, we have an area called the Park. The park is owned by MGM, and it's right outside the New York. It's a great place to take a stroll if you're walking along the strip and you just want to get away from all the hustle and bustle and noise for a couple of moments. Lots of trees here, there's some art, there's restaurants and taverns, and if you walk all the way to the back, you'll see Bliss, a huge sculpture of a dancing woman, and also back there is the T-Mobile Arena. Great place to just stop off, and of course there's videos on the park here on the New York channel. We just passed the Shake Shack, which was another burger joint, which was on my first burger challenge. And as we walk along the New York sidewalk here, which is all cobblestone, by the way, keeping with the theme, we have the Brooklyn Bridge on our left, and all these restaurants on the right are, you can enter them either through the strip or from inside the casino. Lots of great restaurants here along the New York front. And although we're here in the early afternoon right now, this area right of the strip right in front of the New York is very active in the evening because of all the restaurants and bars and all the attractions here that they have. It's a great place to hang out. There's usually some live music out here, some street performers and stuff like that. If you're into all that kind of stuff, which I am, this is the area to hang out. And here we are standing in front of the New York Hotel and Casino, and you can see the skyline is very well represented with the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, Lady Liberty, Grand Central Terminal. You have that screaming Big Apple roller coaster that starts off actually inside the hotel and casino and finishes off inside as well. But once you're on the ride, it shoots you outside in between all these skyscrapers, and very popular attraction here on the Las Vegas Strip. We're now crossing over Tropicana Avenue. This intersection has the New York, as I mentioned, the MGM Grand across the street, the Tropicana, which is perpendicular, I guess that's the correct term, to the New York, and the Excalibur, which is directly in front of us. Yeah, this is definitely one of the busier intersections here along the Las Vegas Strip. Hold on tight. We're now in front of the Excalibur here on the Las Vegas Strip. There is not a Caesar property in sight from here on down. I mean, we walked past the Aria, the Vidara, the Park MGM, the New York. Now we're passing the Excalibur. Across the street is the MGM Grand, and next up is the Luxor, and after that is the Mandalay Bay. All of these are MGM properties. Now you can catch a tram from the Excalibur, which is what we're in front of right now, and it will take you to the Luxor as well as the Mandalay Bay all the way down the south end of the strip, which is where we're heading. If you don't feel like walking, just head into the Excalibur and catch that tram. It runs every few minutes, very convenient, air conditioned, and quite frankly, there's not much else to see on this end of the strip, so that might be a good option. We are obviously in front of the Luxor now, the Egyptian-themed hotel and casino here on the Las Vegas Strip with that iconic pyramid building. At night, the very top of that pyramid shoots a light beam up into the sky. It's not just one light, it's several dozen lights actually, but it looks like one light beam. It's the strongest light beam in the world. It's safe to say that light beam can be seen for miles around when you're here in Las Vegas, and it's also been said that when astronauts are up in space and they're flying over this area, they can see that light beam. And this light beam leads me to my government conspiracy theory, which I'm going to spill right here. Area 51 is very close to Las Vegas, and obviously the government keeps Area 51 under tight wraps. That's no secret. And this light beam here on the pyramid here at the MGM Luxor, is that a tourist attraction or is that a government reinforced beam that signals something to outer space to let people know out there that we like to gamble? I don't know. My theory. And that, my friends, is the crazy New Yorker inside of Jeff New York. There has been construction going on down here for the past year or two, and as you can see, all these sidewalks are new. I think as we get closer to the Mandalay Bay, you'll see some more construction going on. I have visited this area since this video was recorded, and it's completely done now, and it looks really good down here. So hopefully it'll bring some people down to this area. Don't forget to check out my book, 50 Attractions and Many Tips When Visiting Las Vegas. It's down at the bottom in the description of this video that you're watching. It's only $4.99, instantly downloaded to your computer, tons of pictures and fantastic tips if you plan on visiting Sin City. And my friends, it looks like we've reached our destination, the most southern end, as far as I'm concerned, of the Las Vegas Strip, the Mandalay Bay. It's been 2 miles. It hasn't seemed that bad, has it? It's been a great walk, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you for watching the New York channel. Please subscribe.
That, of course, was Laverne and Shirley, and I found out yesterday that actor David L. Lander died. He played Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley, so rest in peace, David. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, comment, ask some questions, and most importantly, subscribe by clicking on the button on the left. You can visit all of my New York videos by clicking on the top right, or check out my videos on other favorite places to visit by clicking on the bottom right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around the city.